this hat is now. This hat dates back to the 2009 European Grand Prix held in Valencia, which was actually the last Grand Prix that I went to, having been to 18 in total across Silverstone, Barcelona, Valencia and Indianapolis. But having kids more recently has made it difficult to justify the cost. But yeah, this hat was bought at that Grand Prix in Valencia 2009. Unfortunately, I no longer have the very first hat that I bought at a Grand Prix, which my very first Grand Prix was the 1988 British Grand Prix, Silverstone. But the first hat I bought was in 1991, but it was a very poor quality one. It just had Nigel Mansell across the top in yellow lettering. It wasn't poor quality because it was Nigel Mansell hat. Quite the opposite. That was the quality aspect to the hat, having Nigel Mansell's name on the front. No, it had. It was a big foam one. You might remember these ones. There's a very upright foam front to it, and just horrible hat. Very low quality. But I did take it to Australia in 1995, and I went there on holiday, and I was in a restaurant, and a waiter, I think it was, came up to me basically and pointed at the hat and said, "Great driver," and then walked off. I smiled and said, "Indeed," as he walked off. But yeah, it was the same colour as this hat. Blue, light blue, with Nigel Mansell along the top. And I do have a couple of other Formula One hats. One of them, Silverstone hat from about 20 years ago, and another one, a bright, shiny silver McLaren Mercedes one from Lewis Hamilton, 2008. That always turns heads when I go out, because if the sun shines on it, it can be blinding. Valencia Grand Prix 2009. The actual track itself was not particularly interesting. I was in a grandstand, but there's so much catch fencing with it being a temporary street race. So much catch fencing everywhere that it's just very ugly Grand Prix to watch, even though it has this bridge going across part of the harbour. It's still very ugly Grand Prix to watch, and on TV I never found it an interesting one to look at on TV either. It's a bit creased, this hat. Just open it up a little bit, like so. But Valencia itself, really, really interesting place. Right by the beach as well. The circuit was, which we visited. But it's such an interesting place. They have the Turia River, the park that goes through the old drained Turia River after Valencia had a devastating flood in 1957, which I knew nothing about until I went there in 2009. Massive flooding they had. It really devastated the city, and the upshot of that was the course of the river was diverted, the Turia River, and so this riverbed, this part of the river, was turned into really amazing parks with fantastic buildings in them. It was really amazing, and I didn't know any of that until I went there. It's a fantastic place to go, regardless of the Grand Prix. And it's got a lovely harbour there as well. I mean, it's just a great place to wander around. But the park, our hotel, was quite high up, and we had a balcony, and it overlooked the Turia, the old Turia riverbed, which is now Turia Gardens. I think it's called Turia Gardens. Jarden, isn't that Spanish for garden? Jarden del Turia, I suppose it would be. The Turia Gardens. Oh, it's amazing. Fantastic buildings in there as well. But great stuff. And the bridge is, I'm not surprised the bridge is on this hat because it is a standout feature of the circuit. But you don't really, when you're watching on TV, you don't really even notice them going over the bridge. It's a bit like the one in Singapore. It doesn't really add anything. You would think it would add something to it, but it doesn't really, because you don't notice it. But yeah, great place to visit, Valencia. This hat is, I've always liked the hat. I mean, it's a bit old now, a bit knackered, but it has a really nice rim to it around the edge, where it says Valencia Street Circuit. It doesn't have a load of advertising, which you might expect. No, it just says Valencia Street Circuit. Really nice hat. Solid rim, really nice rim. It's a bit creased, the hat now. I don't wear it very often. I should do, really. I should wear it more often. But yeah, it's a great hat. The race, I remember, was won by Rubens Barrichello in his Brawn. His first win of the year, in his desperate attempt to catch Jenson Button in the championship, which he didn't manage to do, despite winning the Italian Grand Prix as well a little bit later. Jenson Button winning all his races at the start of the season, of course, and was nearly caught by Sebastian Vettel. I have the program for the race, of course, and I will do a video on the program, so I'll go into the race a little bit more detail. But I seem to remember the F2 race at Valencia was won by Nico Hulkenberg on his way to the championship. I think he was racing primarily against Vitaly Petrov in 2009. But anyway, that's just off the top of my head. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think Hulkenberg beat Petrov in the F2 race. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to subscribe, please do so. Or like the video, or comment on the video. Or leave a tip on the thanks button under the video. And I will see you on the very next video, whatever it may be about. Oh, did I point out the little map on the side? There you go. That's a nice touch. Little map on the side there.